Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 1 of a best of 3 between Nilla and Jack in round 1 of the Season 6 playoffs of the Steel Division 2 League. Today they are playing on Shchedrin, and on our left in the red team, playing on the allied side, we have Nilla using the 97th Guards rifles and the Maverick deployment type. On our right side in the blue team, also playing on the allied side, we have Jack, also known as America in game, using the 2nd Infantry Indian Head and the Maverick deployment type. So we do have an allied versus allied matchup today in these quarterfinals. But let's have a quick look at what's going down, since it seems like the players have most of their stuff deployed. Nilla has two 2-star snipers at the front here with a Maxim. There's also going to be an Avto Komroti leading 2 Tanko Dasarniki and 3 Oknemachiki. These are all coming in M2A1 half-tracks, an interesting strategy there, with the VulcanHDGaming PTR, another Avto at the back, with 2 T34 76 1943s. Further down, we have 3 more Oknemachikis coming in with those 50 cal half-tracks, Tanko Dasarniki, with the ZIS-2 and VulcanHDG. And on the bottom side, another VulcanHDG PTR with 2 Strafniki heading into the town, 2 ZIS-3s heading towards the town, with an Avto Komroti there and the Tankos. So I assume one of these ZIS-3s is going to go out wide, one maybe into the edge of the town, or maybe looking down the road. Maybe he's going to place them both on the road, something like that. Because the ZIS-3s can fire HE as well, so they'll be able to support against enemy infantry. Over on the side of Jack, he's got 2 flamethrowers at the start here, with a 30 cal M8 Recon, with an M1 gun, Engineers M3 Howitzer 105, M5 gun. There's going to be rifles early with a T30 HMC and 2 Stuarts, so quite the mix of units here. The M5 gun's actually pretty scary for any armor that Nilla might have, because it does have some very good APCR. Further down, we've got the flamethrower there with the M8 Recon, Engineer in the M3A1 half-track, that's with the 50 cal. Basics, rifles early, another basics there, Ranger T30 HMC and a Stuart. Then we have, going into the town, 2 flamethrowers and a basics. Actually, those might head... they must go into the town. Never mind. And another flamethrower down here with the Ranger Marauders and basics and rifles. So, looks like Jack's not really putting too much focus into the town. And much more focus on the top side. I'm not a huge fan of his choice of units. Like these T30s, I always kind of find them a bit lackluster. Even with like the 2-star veterancy, they don't really seem to do that much damage when they hit stuff. So you got to get quite a lot of shots off in order to kill like even an infantry squad. And then they don't really trade well with sort of support weapons. So sometimes, like in Steel Division normally 44, the T30 used to be really good for trading with like AT guns, because it used to be like almost outrange them, or like you could like fire position around a corner or something to pick them off. But I feel like in Steel Division 2 they don't really have the blast to do that, so they're not as useful in that sort of utility role. The M5A1 is okay, but it only has like 2 30 cals, so it's not even that strong against infantry. It's great for cleaning up half-tracks though. I think that's what the Stuarts are really good for in Steel Division 2, is they're great at cleaning up transports, and there is going to be quite a lot of half-track transports coming out of Nilla, so it seems like those might pay off quite a bit. But against something like a T34 76, those Stuarts are actually going to have a little bit of trouble. So we're off. Let's have a quick look at where they're going with these troops. It does look like Nilla decided to bring in a 152mm off map on this top side. But I'm really curious to see how these flamers in the 50 cal half-tracks do. Usually you have the flamers in fast transports like Nilla has in these jeeps, so that they can advance and take ground very early, and then sort of like dislodge enemy infantry as they come towards you. But it seems like in this case Nilla's kind of using the flamethrowers just as infantry in the transports, so that he can get the transports on the field, like the 50 cal units, because they are very, very useful. This sniper's really going for the kill here onto the M1 gun, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to pull that off. Does get the M1 gun down to 2 health. The sniper goes down with the help of the 105mm here. And the M5 gun also has HE if he needed it. Off-map's about to come down on this top side. That might kill the flamethrower, might kill the T-30. Probably won't kill the engineer squad, but will push them out of the half-track there. Rifles lucky not to die before they got unloaded there. Yeah, the T-30 went down. The flamethrower is still alive. Nilla's now pushing in with his units there to secure that. P-38 did come in on the bottom side, strafe the Tankos. It looks like Nilla's managed to, or sorry, Jack's managed to secure both the flags in the town on the bottom side. That's going to give him the 14 to 10. M8 up on the hill already with the T-30. Very fast units these are. It's able to get into position very quickly. Nilla's going to be dropping the smoke with these Ognemachikis, getting his M2A1s out of there. It'll really come down to the VZVOD PTR to kill a lot of this armor. It doesn't have much armor. You can see each of these only have 15mm of armor. So the VZVOD PTR definitely in a good spot to do some damage here with the PTRDs. The VZVOD PTR squads do have 3 PTRDs, which is pretty significant. Maxim there finishing off the M1 gun that was already damaged. That's nicely done. It looks like the rifles here got surrendered by the Ognemachiki. So Nilla's managed to secure the hill on the top side there. On the bottom, Tankos trying to engage the rifles. Nice micro there from Jack to jump out the building and avoid the Molotov that was going to hit him. Looks like the basics maybe took a Molotov to the face, but one of the stuff's going to go down there to the P-38 strafing run. Does have 450 cals and a 20mm in that nose. AT, is it going to do the job? The VZVOD PTR, sorry. Almost getting some shots into the side of that M5. Oh, they get one penetration there. Looks like these M2A1s are going to be joining the engagement, trying to pin down and potentially kill off the M3A1 half-track there. That gets picked off by the ZIS-2 further back. But the T-34-76 definitely forcing a lot of this light armor off the hill now. And that's the trouble that I thought that Jack might have, is just like not being able to maintain a foothold against T-34s with this sort of light armor. But he is still maintaining the advantage with 13 to 11 thanks to this position in the town that he has. It's not the most ideal setup for Jack. Like, he still has to reinforce this town, and he has done so with a couple of these Stuarts and the T-30 there. His tanker will cause him problems. The Razva Dozor is also pretty scary with its MG and sniper. The M2A1 still trying to put pressure on the M8. Looks like there's this 2 took another shot at the M8 there. Got to be careful he doesn't get that strafed by the P-38. But Nilla's actually brought in a 2-star 37 now. Oh, it's got the AVTO next to it, so that's providing the extra veterancy. P-47 actually going to be the one delivering the bomb onto the ZIS-2. Gets the job done nicely. There's another 2-star 37 further up. As the P-47 flies towards that, got to be a little bit careful. And that's going to give Jack the flag on that hill. Has seeded the one in the town for the time being, as the Staffniki have moved up. Sapri getting in position to engage the basics. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jack do a little bit of micro here. Yep, he's jumped out the building to avoid the HE satchel. Did the HE satchel even get thrown? It did. I think Nilla actually jumped back out of the building there and then fire positioned it into that building. But Jack had already moved, so that didn't really work out. Tanko's there coming under fire. Did manage to get rid of that unit of basics at least. Our rifles early moving into the tree line here. This is not really good news for the VZVOD PTR and the Tankos. I guess if the Tanko managed to get a Molotov off, it might be enough to allow both squads with their SMGs to get the better of the rifles early, but even with the M1 Grands, there's still quite a lot of DPS. Sapre do manage to get the better of the basics there in the end. So Jack looking quite anemic in the town. In the centre, things a bit more even. Tankos do manage to finish off that engineer squad at least, and the VZVOD PTR has managed to move back for the time being, but will most likely get taken out on the retreat. On this hill, M2A1 goes down. Tankos getting a little bit too far forwards, are going to take a HE shot to the face. Looks like Jack's going to maybe try and make a little bit of a pushback here, but he doesn't really have like strong infantry to get into this tree line. Like ideally you'd have something like rangers to move in here with their flamethrowers and get the job done that way, but at the moment we're not seeing any rangers. Maybe he's got them in phase B. T30 goes down. Is that to the PTRDs? I think it probably was. M5A1 managed to surrender a unit of infantry though. And with Nilla taking both of these flags, has brought things back to 12 to 12 because Jack has managed to somehow maintain control on this hill. He took out the T-34 up here. He took out the ZIS-2. That kind of removed the threat on the flanks that were hitting his light vehicles. And controlling this flag in the center here on that hill is actually a really, really nice position to be in. So if he can get that reinforced and maintain control of it throughout the game, as long as he doesn't lose in the town too hard, he should have an advantage throughout the game. So engineers have moved up now. Did they manage to get the HE shell off? No, they didn't. Or the HE TNT. It didn't get thrown. So they're pinned down without even using that. And that's really, really tough for Jack to deal with. Because the second tanker can come up here. He can Molotov the basics. Although I just wasted the Molotov on the engineers. It doesn't really matter. The SMG gets the job done anyway. VZVOD going to take out the half-track there, looking for the kill onto the M5A1 at close range. They do have quite a decent amount of penetration. These VZVOD PTR seem to be paying off quite well against the light armor of Jack so far. Maybe not so much in the center, but definitely on the top and bottom sides of the map. Another PTR shot coming in. There you go, another 3 more coming in from that VZVOD PTR. The rate of fire that you get out of them is really, really nice. P-47's coming in again for bombing strikes. One's going for the ZIS-3. The other is going for the Sapere. ZIS-3 goes down. P-38 coming in for the strafing run. I'm surprised the P-38 didn't go for the strafing run onto the 37, actually, to stop it shooting at the P-47. But it seems like that's not really doing too much damage. It doesn't have the veterancy from the Avtokomroti anymore, so it's only 1-star veterancy. And so, honestly, Jack doesn't have to worry about it too much. More basics on the way, though, to the center. They're going to be the staple infantry that he's trying to use to engage Nilla here. 2v1, the basics do definitely out DPS a Gvardia DP. So that's a nice engagement for them. IL-2 coming in with the 50 kilogram bombs to bomb the M8. That's an interesting choice. P-38 does get a couple of hits off, but nothing that the IL-2 is going to scoff at. Seems as though, even with the airstrikes, Nilla still has a pretty strong foothold here in the town. Those Strafniki squads are really, really difficult to get rid of because they have so much health. And the Sapere, you know, they've only got to trade with their HE to really be effective there. All Ranger Marauders, T-34, 76 kill there. It's not what Nilla wants to see. He needs to have armor here in order to take care of the light armor that Jack has, since his VZVOD PTR has died now. And he's not going to have many of these VZVOD PTR squads. I believe you only get like 4 on a card. But it seems like they're perfect for this kind of matchup where Jack is relying quite a lot on these half-tracks and light vehicles. But as we start to see Shermans come in, I would expect that Jack can really like solidify his advantage at the moment, because I do feel like he is at an advantage having this topside map under control. And if he can get that Gvardia DP surrendered, it doesn't look like he's going to. That would have been really, really good. But not going to happen this time around. On the bottom, it is a bit of a mess. He definitely can't afford to lose the town completely, because it makes it really, really difficult to get back in there. If you get pushed out entirely, then you've got to basically cross across the open ground, either down here or from the hill. And if your opponent has placed things in the outer rim of the town, including like AT guns that can kind of like sneak into the back gardens and stuff, it can be really, really awkward to get back in there. Especially without like the help of like some serious off-map, which isn't always cost-effective in a 1v1. P-47's coming in to attack these tankos here. Bomb hit the Strafs. And the Tankos kills off one squad, pins down the other. Bombs not being terribly effective there. Rafniki getting a PTRD squad, PTRD shot off. Interesting choice of the M5 gun here. I'm not entirely sure what the plan with that is. Maybe to kill the T-34-76, but having not really seen any like Shermans yet is quite surprising to me, honestly. There is one on the way. We've got an M4A1 finally coming in with an M10. So looks like Jack was kind of waiting until Phase B to deploy these. We have just moved into Phase B. Now, since both are playing Maverick, neither gets an advantage from the Maverick deployment type. It's all going to just be about either who can get the better trades or who can outlast the other, pretty much. Shchedrin actually get a decent amount of damage done there onto the Bofors. The Bofors is in a pretty dodgy position. You wouldn't want it to be that far up because if more infantry squads start firing at it from the edge of the town, it's going to die pretty fast. The T-34 here looking for the kill onto the M8. Nice, that's a good kill there for him. Stays out of line of sight the M4A1 and the M10 as well in the process. The IL-2 looking for the direct bombing strike onto the Bofors. That is not a good move. Flying directly into it. I might actually go down because of that. Like, it's okay to bomb AA if it's already pinned. Or, like, I would say like 90% pinned. But in that case, just seems like a bit of a waste of the IL-2. AA in the middle. Currently 3-star veterancy. Going to force back the P-38. Might actually cause it to get shot down with the shots coming in from the 37 on the bottom side. Will the last shot get the job done? Nope. Sniper getting some shots onto the Rangers. Engineers going to get a grenade HE into the Gavardia there, but it's going to be not enough to kill the Gavardia. And the Engineers do get pinned down. M5 gun takes out the Sniper. Ranger LMGs at range are pretty rough to deal with. The 230 cows with 2-star veterancy can definitely pin enemy squads quite quickly. But now we got shots coming in from the 85, which will help pin down the Rangers at range. Visivod PTR are coming under fire from the rifles late, which do have double BAR. Looks like off-map coming in. Is this rocket off-map? It is. So Flamers there traded for Ranger Marauders, which is not a good trade really for Nilla. M3 howitzers getting some shots in on the side here though onto the Shchedrin. This rocket artillery, is it worth it? I mean, this is a 65-point AT gun and a 45-point howitzer. This is a 120-point off-map and it only gets one shot. So unless more stuff ends up driving into it, which it might, then it's not really worth it. The Flamers are dead though, and another bombing strike lands there, forcing the Shchedrin to fall back. Looks like Jack's starting to get a bit of a foothold back in the town with help of the rifles late. But he's got to continue the momentum here. He can't just let Nilla reinforce as he is. This is quite a lot of stuff coming in here from Nilla. T-34-85 now engaging across the open. The 105's gone down. Oh no! Jack, no! Oh, let 2 of his infantry squads die to that off-map completely unnecessarily. Probably didn't see it coming down. I'm surprised that M5 gun's alive. That's incredible. Like, not killing this is really big, actually, because it means that it could kill the T-34. Especially if it manages to recover its morale entirely. Got the PE-2 coming in for a bombing strike towards these engineers. Nilla's really trying to keep Jack off this hill. He's got a bunch more infantry coming in here. He's pushing forwards these infantry on the bottom side. He's got the Gavardia DP. Gavardia DP can kill these half-tracks with their PTRDs, but they have, no, only one of them. So, and they have quite low rate of fire normally. The reason the Visivod PTR are so good is because I have 3 of them, so the rate of fire is tripled, pretty much. Some good kills there onto what looked like transports with stuff still in it. Meanwhile, the Shchedrin are just demolishing the infantry in the open that got hit by the bombing strike. These units are smoked off here, going to get pushed on by the 3-star Gavardia thanks to the Avto Komroti. And once he takes out the flamethrower and the 30 cal here, Nilla's going to have quite a big advantage on this top side. That rocket off map did actually allow the Gavardia to get up onto the top of that hill. So it seems to have paid off in ground at least, if not kills. And that's 16-8 now in flags, as this flag also gets captured by the Salient. 85mm versus M5 gun. The 85 does have a head start here, I think, but should be able to get the job done. The 152mm off map, just kind of YOLOing down the road to see what's coming. There are 2 Hellcats on the way. There's an M10 there, there's the M4A1. The T-34-85 is not really in a good spot to deal with all of this armor, but I don't think it's really going to matter too much because there's not much this armor can do about the Avtos and Gavardia. They're going to be taking control of these tree lines. So a really decisive artillery strike there from Nilla has really crushed and broken the back of Jack by the looks of things. Things turning to 17-7 in the game. But Jack is still starting to make a bit of ground back here on this bottom side. He can use his half tracks to quickly surrender things once they get pinned down, because there's not really like any bazookas and stuff. So half tracks can actually just rush infantry quite reliably because the PTRDs are so low rate of fire. M1A1 versus T-34. Looks like the T-34 actually got a shot off there, a penetration. So this is damaged. Looks like this one took a shot as well though. Nice bombing strike there. Will allow the engineers to move in onto the Avtos and the Gavardia. Yeah, I'm just really surprised that Nilla isn't using the Flamer Rangers. I feel like they're really good at close range. And in a situation like in the mid-game, they could really just overrun Avtos and Gavardia quite nicely. But he has managed to get some units back onto this hill at least, which is important. But he's still at a 17-7 disadvantage, so it's not looking great for Jack right now, and losing that half track and the M4A1 is not good at all for this town engagement. The Gavardia managing to hold strong, and now with the T-34-85 to back them up, he might be able to clean up the half tracks as well, allowing the infantry to continue to trade favourably against Nilla's infantry, although that's a nice surrender there over that flag. So the T-34 moving on to the flag in the centre here. These 2 engineers moved up. It looks like the units that did get pinned down just fell back. T-34 on this hill does have 3-star veterancy, which is going to make it pretty scary against things like these M18s and the M4A1. It will at least get like a penetration in before it dies. Now Gavardia against rifles again. Machine guns are hitting the rifle or the engineers at range. 15-9, a little bit of a salient over this bridge has given him the flag for the time being. M8 is going to go down to the T-34 though. And it's just making it very difficult for Jack to commit, because every time Jack brings up some units he picks off like 1 or 2, and then it kind of makes it difficult for Jack to commit. So that's basically what's been happening across the front so far. These Gavardia, if they die, the front line might push back over this way, which would be good for Jack because he's got quite a lot of units kind of out of position at the moment. The M8 Hellcats, they're managing to pick off one transport vehicle there, which is pretty nice. Still 16-8. That's going to be 10 minutes till victory. All the 37mm AA. Did it get enough shots onto the P38? That does get the weapon jam crit. Couple more shots nearby. Not quite enough to shoot that down. And that surprises me a lot because the P38 is quite a brittle aircraft. So not being shot down by a 3-star 37 is, I think, unlucky. Nice bombing strike there though. Pushes back the Hellcats for the time being. Does some damage to them, so it probably means that they only require like 1 shot to kill now from his own tanks, from Nilla's tanks. M10's moving over. M10 not the best unit to support at close range. It does have a 50 cal, but the issue you have is that the turret turns really slowly, so when you end up fighting other tanks, it can put you in a really weird predicament where your turret's just not facing the right way, and your hull will turn, and then your turret's still facing even more the wrong way, and yeah, things just get a bit awkward. These 2 T-34s snaking around here is really nice. Going to take care of this Bofors very easily indeed. Gets rid of the AA support on the bottom side, which might allow for the PE2s or the IL2s to get some advantage on this bottom side for Nilla. He's been using them on the top side, but there hasn't been any AA. Now there's no AA on the bottom side as well. He can definitely use it to like take out the M1 gun, for example, maybe bomb the M10 in the town. That would really open up and make it easy for Nilla to push through. But with the tank sitting here, it looks like the salient isn't quite catching up to this infantry that Jack has on the other side. And Nilla's just able to ignore it because he's able to get infantry up this road towards this point. And ideally you'd want to be cutting that off. That's why like controlling either side of the center is so important. And I'm surprised that Nilla didn't manage to sort of reinforce this very easily. I mean, it is difficult because I mean, even just a unit here kind of stops you getting reinforcements up. You'd have to manually drive up here and then drive down and then up and over. But we've got the Su-85. What's that engaging? It looks like the Hellcat there. It's firing APCR, so it's probably not going to be able to kill it very quickly. Shot coming out from the M10 on the ridge here as well. Oh, lucky to be alive there. Got hit by 2 APCR shots. They didn't do enough damage to kill. You generally need to be hit by like 3 APCR shots to be killed. But there's this 2 getting at shots in there. Easy peasy. 2-star veterancy. Decent rate of fire. Very, very nice indeed. Now the T-34-85, that's engaging the M10 at close range here. It's going to have to back off. Going to stop to fire. Very nice micro from Nilla. But the M10's going to finish it off. So basically there, he made sure to start reversing so he could get out of the range of this M10. Didn't quite manage to, but made sure that he stopped it at least so that he got the maximum accuracy onto the unit at close range. Because when units are on the move, they do have less accuracy. P-47 coming in there. Gets a nice bombing strike onto the Avtos. See if he can surrender this one. Oh, he bumped into the other squad. That's unfortunate. Although the Avtos... Yeah, the rifles managed to get the job done. Nice thing about the rifles late is they do have BARs, and these are automatic rifles, so they can be used within the 100-meter range. And therefore, they do pin down enemy squads quite well, including Avtos. M18 Hellcat here, I think took a shot from the 85 on the main road. Managed to survive though. 15-9. Good pushback from Jack. Has managed to reclaim control of his side of the hill, which is super important for stopping Nilla getting reinforcements onto this side. But I'd kind of like to see him commit to getting his troops back under his front line so that he can put more pressure onto the opposing hill once again. We'll have to wait and see. The town's not looking too great at the moment. So down here, we've got 2 rifles late moving in, which are going to actually trade quite favourably against Kavardia. There's the M10 and the M18 Hellcat. They're not great at close range. And with the IS-1 coming up, I don't think that really matters actually. I was going to say this could be scary, but because the penetration on these tanks is quite high, the M18 Hellcat will deal with whatever it hits regardless. Nice kill there from the T-34-85. Gets rid of the one of those threats. The M10 itself has that trouble where the turret is slow. So T-34-85 could get the better of the M10 as long as the infantry is taken care of in the meantime. Not that the infantry here can actually do anything about it. Nice surrender actually onto the rifles late with the Avtos. So he's managed to get his engineers and ranger marauders back under control of his front line. It's pushing back to 13-11. E2 coming in for the bombing strike. Jack's done a fantastic job of sort of being able to recover and trade relatively favourably into the sort of late game here, into phase C. Seems to be getting the better of like some of Nilla's infantry with his own, and yeah, managing to really break it down and bring back the 11 flags there. Now back to 10, but things going backwards and forwards. Looks like Jack's kind of trying to keep control of this hill, but it's quite difficult. Looks like he's being bombed and stuff constantly, which is making it very hard for him. Su-85 looking for the shot onto the M10. So you see how long these M10s like take to aim, because as they turn their hull, they move their turret to the wrong side, and then the turret has to move back. And then like finally it fires. Now the M10s, they are quite accurate, but the Su-85's already landed a shot, so it should win the engagement. IL-2 coming in. Bombing strike. Oh, big damage to the rifles late there. The M10 actually gets the better of the Su-85. And this rifle late moving up. Oh, this is really nice actually from Jack here. He's got to pray that this 37 doesn't go down, because that rifle late, if it does kill it, could potentially do damage to this S2, also the 85. Oh, that is unfortunate for Jack there. Doesn't quite get them surrendered just yet. Yep, there they go. I was going to say. Back to 12 to 12. Massive comeback from Jack so far. But 4 rifles late, not going to really be much against 8 Avtos. Gavardia looked like they might clean up the engineers. I feel like the numbers are just kind of not exactly in the favour of Jack if he wants to keep pushing. So he's got to be a bit careful that he doesn't completely overextend, because it could allow Nilla to then push back and, you know, win the game in the long run. So 9 minutes 30 left until Nilla wins. Nilla has had a flag advantage for most of the game. Nilla did do pretty well early on, and has done well to get back into the position he is, because it looked really bad for a second. Like he was up against his opponent having 17 flags, which is really, really bad. So the fact he's managed to bring it back to 13 to 11 is a really, really good effort. And these Hellcats actually have to be careful against Gavardia DP, because they've only got 20 armor. The PTRD of the Gavardia DP will actually get the kill. But up here with the 2-star Veteran C, with the Avto behind, Razvad Dozor as well with the sniper and the machine gun, they're pinning down these infantry at range, and there's not really much the Hellcat can do about it. E38, almost takes down the IL-2. Had a lot of time on target there, but not quite enough damage. Is Nilla really going to go for the shot? He is. He's going to head on. Oh, how did neither of those get shot down? That is crazy. 85's getting shots onto the M4A1 here. The M1 gun under fire from the T-34-85. One nice thing about the T-34-85s now is they do have 2 machine guns. They used to only have 1, but now they have 2. So they can actually pin down tanks like that at closer ranges. The M1 gun gets the job done though, as you'd expect, and the M4A1 goes down to the 85 in the meantime. But Nilla's got another unit of infantry on the way here. Jack's going to have to somehow get his units of infantry into the town. Across the open it's going to be quite difficult. These rifles, I was going to say, if they could kill the Gavardia before they unloaded, that would have been pretty big. Engineers, did they get off their TNT? That's going to be quite important. Don't think they did. But now he's got to deal with the Ranger Marauders. Ranger Marauders can pin down squads quite quickly, but against superior numbers, they're just going to get killed off eventually, regardless. 132 mil off map now, making a charge for it. Nilla's basically just trying to see what's here. Using that to scout. Ranger LMG managing to move around the flank there on the top side. Bombing strike actually did no damage to the rifles, but did pin them down, so that does give the flag over to Nilla. Those rifles are going to have to make a run for it. You can see that he has given them the move order outside of the building, but they've now moved into line of sight of the 37, so that's not good at all. P-47 goes down on the top side. M3 half-track goes down on the hill. The IS-1... oh, I think it just took a penetration there from the M3 howitzer. Got to be careful, this is 130 millimeters of heat penetration. Maxim on the edge of the town. Oh, that's a pain. That's a real pain for Nilla to deal with, or for Jack to deal with. Because his rifles are going to get pinned down the open. The M3 howitzer's pinned down. He's basically solely reliant on this rifle late. On the top, it looks like the Ranger LMGs got picked off by the Razvedosor. And if both the Razvedosor and the Gvardia DP continue engaging these two squads, they will definitely win with those snipers to assist them. IL-2 is now being used as a strafing aircraft as well. And looks like that rifle's late will get forced off. M1 gun goes down on this bottom side. Having control over this town is actually crucial for Nilla right now, and he's bringing in the right units to control the open ground. He's got those Maxims coming in. But this basic squad still providing the salient here. So the IS-1 is moving down to rid himself of those. More Maxims coming in. I'm wondering if Nilla's bringing in Maxims because he's low on infantry. Because I feel like in this sort of situation, are Maxims really the best choice? Like, Gvardia DP would be ideal here if it was like 500 meter range. Nice IL-2 strafing around onto the M3 howitzer though. He's gone for that flag with the Maxims. That's so cheeky. He's going for the next one as well, isn't he? Yep. That M3 is going to probably kill that 85, yep. Maxim can't really do anything here. Yeah, I think Nilla's really just going all in. He's got a couple Gvardia DP on the way. Going to take out this basics, which is going to give him back those two flags. It's now 16-8. Nilla just really wants to go for the throat and finish things off. Razvedosor, SVT. Just look how quickly they pin these down. These are such nice squads when they support other infantry. And even on their own, like, you can see how quickly they're dealing with that, because the snipers are so lethal, they can just kill off the members of the squads very fast. Maxim here has actually managed to pin down the M3. This Maxim's going to move through as well and probably help pin down these guys. But seems like that's it. Jack's going to let that one go. 33 minutes, 19 seconds. An incredible game. That was very, very fun to watch. A big old tussle there between Nilla and Jack, but ultimately Nilla managed to hold on to the kill lead, which led to the map lead over time. Really, really nice comeback in the mid game by Jack. That was not something I expected. I think, you know, honestly, Nilla kind of dropped the ball, maybe overextended just a little bit too much trying to gain ground, and it kind of cost him. Look at this T-34. That was on the top side, I believe. Just getting loads of kills there onto like lots of light armor, and then also an M4A1. These VZ VOD PTR in the early game, really nice for just picking off some of these half tracks and stuff. I liked the use of those for sure. Strafniki just caused so many problems, like really, really difficult to get rid of. And then the Razvedosor were really nice there. This off map, although it didn't really kill much, did seem to like open up the map in the mid in the early game. And this Strafniki, look at that. Beautiful. 85 mil. Getting 2 M4A1s. Very nice. And then the 37 did manage to claim 2 P47s in the end. As for losses, the M5A1 seems like this one did its job in killing enemy half-tracks. That's about all they're good for. The T30 in the mid as well managed to like help the infantry push up, which early on like gave Jack the positional advantage in the center of the map, but I don't think he really exploited it as much as he probably could have. And I am surprised that he didn't have the Rangers, because I feel like Rangers with, not the Ranger LMGs, but the Rangers with the flames are actually really, really good. M10 Destroyer here, managing to get 3 Su-85s and the T-34-85. I'm not a huge fan of bringing in Su-85s without veterancy. I think they're really terrible without veterancy. So, like, I normally up-vet these to, like, 2-star if I'm going to use them. That's before even having a leader next to them. But the rifles late actually performed very, very well in, like, the mid to late game and managed to out-trade a lot of the infantry, which gave back Jack the ground. So, yeah, a very interesting game to watch. A nice try at a comeback there for Jack, but Nilla managed to hold on to the advantage for the majority of the game, and it looked like it paid off in the end. But that is only game 1 of a best of 3 between these two players, so look out for the next game. We're going to be moving on to game 2 to see who moves on, if somebody moves on. Of course, Nilla only has to win 1 more. Jack's going to have to win 2 more in order to move on to the semi-finals. But that's it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.